So okay, here's the thing. Ever since I was but a microagori, I've loved Greek mythology. From the height of Mount Olympus to the depths of what Zeus will do to avoid his wife, the old Hellenic legends and myths are super entoposiokos. Problem is, there are just so many of these stories that while everyone in their gyagya know at least some of them, there are some of the more obscure ones that you might never have heard of, even though they affect your life or language in some minor way. Today, I'll be talking about one of these, and yes, while it turns out that manticores are remarkably more popular than I assumed in my video on the subject, I'm fairly sure that this topic is actually an obscure one and you may not have heard of it. Unless you happen to be one of the 45 million people who have ever bought a Percy Jackson book, because apparently this story was a plot point in one of those freaking heck Riordan foiled again! Anyway, the myth I'll be talking about today is the story of Echo and Narcissus. So the story starts as most stories in Greek mythology start, with Zeus going on philia koisokolata on some pretty girls. Now, obviously, for an unmarried bachelor or bachelorette, there's nothing wrong with a little philia koisokolata here and there, but a problem arises when Zeus is not only married, he's literally married to the goddess of marriage itself, Hera. Hera isn't the most thrilled with this situation, so she decides to go all Hera about it and find Zeus and probably murder every female within a 6-mile radius of him while she's at it. While Zeus's primary character flaw was infidelity, I believe Hera's would be more accurately classified as murderlust. Anyway, unfortunately for Hera, Zeus catches wind of her coming and tells a mountain nymph named Echo to distract Hera. Echo is all like,
"Okay, sure, king of the gods, whatever you say,"
and goes off to do so. So now Hera's trying to find Zeus when Echo shows up and...
Like, holy crap, did you hear what happened to Eros and Psyche? Totally Ekentrikos, right? Almost as Ekentrikos as that whole bull situation down in Crete. Pasiphae is pretty crazy, you know? Totally whack what Poseidon did to her, you know? And what's up with Pygmalion? Total weirdo. That guy's got a rocky relationship, if you know what I'm saying. And his wife, Galatea, does she work out or something? Because that girl is totally chiseled. Speaking of working out, you know what didn't work out? Poor Orpheus's whole girlfriend thing. I can totally see why he lost his head like that. Kinda like your kid. Hephaestus? Man, that kid just does not have a leg to stand on. In fact, you could almost say...
It is at this point that Hera realizes that she's being stalled and lays a curse on poor Echo, making it that since she currently can't shut up, from now on she can only repeat things that other people say to her. Then Hera goes off and she and Zeus have more unfortunate marital strife elsewhere and provide many more fun stories and terrible role models and all that stuff. Enter Narcissus.
Yo.
Narcissus was a hunter and was known for two things. First, he was the most handsome man pretty much ever, and second, he just absolutely would not let anyone forget it. He was so full of himself that he pretty much actively despised everyone else.
I am the best after all.
So he shows up and... because Greek mythology is basically just one long, prolonged, wacky shenanigan tinged with the occasional tragic flaw or unnecessary assault, right then Eros, the Greek equivalent of Cupid, is flying around having some fun.
Whoops. Oh, crap.
And now Echo is in love with Narcissus. Unfortunately, for fans of true love and ancient Greek shippers, Echo now had that whole new voice thing that doesn't exactly mesh with professing your love to someone. The resulting conversation didn't go well.
Yo, who's there?
Who's there?
What? Get over here!
Over here.
And so on and so forth. Eventually, they found each other, at which point they totally got married and lived happily ever after. Just kidding. This is a Greek myth. There's no happy endings in this literature club. See, Narcissus, as previously mentioned, wasn't a huge fan of people who weren't, well, himself. So when Echo flung herself at him like an amorous dish towel, he was a bit offended.
Gah! Don't! Stop hugging me!
Don't stop hugging me.
I'd rather die than let you kiss me!
Kiss me.
Narcissus was not a nice person. Anyway, he wound up getting away from poor Echo and running off into the woods. Unbeknownst to either of them, that scene was being watched by someone who absolutely did not have an absurdly ominous name at all. That being...
Nemesis, goddess of revenge and divine retribution.
Who was actually a lot less scary than her name made her appear. Fun fact about Nemesis, her Roman equivalent was Invidia, the goddess of sweet, sweet graphics cards. So Nemesis sees Narcissus being a total gaidaros to poor Echo, and because she's,
Nemesis, goddess of revenge and divine retribution.
she steps in and fixes the whole situation, at which point Narcissus and Echo totally got married and lived happily ever after. Just kidding. No, see, Nemesis does one simple little thing. She makes Narcissus see his reflection in a pond. Remember earlier when I said that Narcissus was the most handsome man pretty much ever? Yeah, I wasn't exaggerating. Echo was by no means alone in her adorations. A good amount of the people who met Narcissus were also struck by Eros's arrow, including...
Why, hello there.
Yeah, Narcissus literally fell in love with his own reflection.
Why, you sexy thing. Kiss me!
See, Narcissus may have been Tom Hiddleston crossed with Chris Evans crossed with Brendan Urie in terms of prettiness, but he apparently did not have the matching mental capacity, in that he didn't really understand how, reflections worked. This poor Golobagoni got so completely infatuated by his own frickin' face that he couldn't look away.
Why won't you let me hold you in my arms, my dearest love?
If you've read much Greek mythology, you know that they had a thing about people shriveling away to nothing or being wizened up to tiny frizzled specks, like Eos the Dawn's boyfriend who turned into a grasshopper, or Arachne who turned into a spider, or Heracles who turned into Danny DeVito. So it goes with this story. Narcissus was so captivated by his reflection that he was frozen in place, hanging over a pond, and eventually withered away into a Narcissus plant. And that's where daffodils come from. Similarly, poor Echo was so hopelessly in love but so cursed that she just straight up faded from reality like my ability to write jokes at the end of a video script, leaving behind nothing but her voice. Now kids, there's a moral here. Have fun trying to figure it out. Anyway, thanks to my buddies Alan, Jacob, and Katie for voicing Narcissus, Eros, and Echo in this video. Special thanks to Jacob, who bought me a new microphone. And additional thanks to Amazon for, hopefully, not suing me for using Alexa.
Yes, please do not pursue legal action. This joker doesn't have any money anyway.
Thank you, Alexa. Anyway, thank you for watching, and don't die. Enter Narcissus. Enter Narcissus. Enter Narcissus. Wow, Narcissus does not sound like a frickin' word anymore. Enter Narcissus. Enter Narcissus. Enter Narcissus.
Narcissus enter, does he?
Alright.